Hi, and welcome to the Creative Treehouse. My name is Robin Broom, and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States. I am so glad you joined me in the treehouse today. Here is today's project. It's a fun autumn card, and I had done this for a blog hop, and part of the inspiration was there was a chalkboard in the image, and I thought, you know what, let's make a chalkboard card using a new stamp set, a new bundle called the Amber Autumn Bundle. And it went live today, which is September 3rd. So I love it. I love fall, and it has wonderful sentiments, and I like to color, so these images are perfect for coloring with blends. So let's walk through how to do it. Perhaps you've never made a chalkboard card before, and I'll show you that technique. But that is what it looks like, and here is the inside as well. So let's get started. Well, of course, the first thing we need is just a card base, the basic black, and it's just the regular 8.5 by 11, scored at 4 1/4. And then I used to make a frame, I used 2 pieces of the textured notes, and I cut out one and then cut out this again to give you the center. So, and then you end up with this. So, and it's not exactly even. The top and bottom are just a little bit thicker than the sides, but nobody's going to notice that. All right, and then to get the, I think this is the right one. Yeah, to get the chalkboard, I think a long time ago they were called blackboards, but anyway, so we're going to actually use a piece of the basic black to do that. And let me grab this, and we are going to use our craft ink. And if you don't know, the craft ink comes in a pad that is empty. It has nothing in it, and you have to order the white pigment ink, that craft ink, and you get to put it on yourself. And I usually like to, because I don't use it all the time, I usually like to add some more to it before I start on a different project. I've also got a sponge. Stampin' Up! Used to sell these. I don't believe they do anymore. And then you're going to just get a little bit of the white craft ink on there, and you're just going to kind of make a sweeping motion across your blackboard. And then we're going to kind of change it up a little bit. All right, now I'm going to push a little bit harder and streak it. Like that. You can kind of go back and forth. Like so. And then I'm going to go back, because we need it to look like I used a chalkboard. So I'm going to kind of just make some blobs and pretend that I'm erasing some of those difficult math problems. Yeah, I'm not a math fan. But yes, when I think about September and autumn and things, I think about back to school and chalkboards, and so I thought this would be fun to put all of these things together. All right, so that is our chalkboard. That's all it takes. And I'm struggling with I am right-handed, and yesterday morning I went to pick up what I thought was a little bug on the carpet. And yes, it was a bug, but it was a honeybee. She was not dead, like I had thought, and she got me really good. I don't know if you can see that, but she got my thumb, and this has been more than 24 hours, and oh my goodness gracious. And being right-handed, it's very difficult. So, yeah, I don't know if you can see the difference, and you can see the swelling. So, oh my goodness. So, this might be interesting to try to craft more left-handed and not utilize my injured thumb. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to stamp, and I chose the Autumn Wishes. We're going to stamp that sentiment on here, and I went ahead and did it because I stamped it in Versamark and put the white embossing powder on it and heat embossed it, and that is what you come up with. So that has already been done for us. So let me move that out of the way because I don't believe we need that anymore. All right, and so I don't believe I said, but this is cut. The black, basic black is cut. Let's see, I'll put these measurements on the blog as well. Let's see where I put them. It is, I'm pretty sure it's 3 3/4 by 5 1/8 is because it just happens to fit perfectly, just a little bit shy of the mat right here, our frame. All right, and so that's what we're going to do. And we can adhere this a number of different ways. One way is that we could put, we can go ahead and glue it with liquid glue. We could possibly use tear and tape. I think it's not, let me check and see if the tear and tape is the same width. That's pretty close. What I might do is on the two edges, it's not going to matter which glue we use, but I think on the top and the bottom, I'm going to go ahead and put some tear and tape because it is wide enough. So I'm going to just put some tear and tape here and some tear and tape here on the other end. Okay, and then I'm just going to use some liquid glue on the sides. These are so skinny that I don't know that will exactly work. So let me see if I happen to have a liquid glue that's ready to go or not. Maybe, maybe not. That one does not seem to want to cooperate. I did not check my glues before I started my video. Let's see. Oh, this one's happy. Okay, as I go everywhere. All right, so we're just going to glue that. Okay, I'll pull off my tear and tape and we will adhere that. If I can, yeah, oh, that wasn't too bad. I can use my fingernails, I just can't use I guess that is it, the pad of my thumb, whatever that is. Okay, all right, and so I think I'll leave that here and I'll see if I can put it down like this. And as long as it doesn't go over, and like I said, I cut it to where it should be just fine, like so. There we go. And that is that so far. All right, the next thing that we'll do is we're going to put, might have to work on it just a little bit, but we're going to put our pumpkins on, and I'm going to put those up on dimensionals. But let me see what you think. Here, do you see the difference between these two? To me, I think I did, yes, I did. Very Vanilla was the cardstock that I used, but I feel like there's too much white space around it, and it takes away from the pumpkins. You just see that. So what I did on this one, which I think I'll do on this one as well, is I'm going to let me grab my paper again. I'm going to take my watercolor pencil, the black one. Oh, this is going to be interesting with my thumb. Let's see if I can do it. And I am just going to kind of color. Doesn't have to be wonderful. I'm just going to color it, and then I'm going to use my blender pen and just kind of soften that up a little bit, darken it up a little bit so that it's not such a stark contrast. So that's what I'm going to do. Just kind of going quickly around all of those beige areas. So, okay. And then I'm thinking I'll possibly do another video or add something to the end of this one where I'll show you how I colored that. If you would be interested, you can keep watching the video and I'll show you coloring. So I just used the lens to do the coloring, but I'm using the watercolor pencil right now. I probably could do it darker. Let's see, that should help a lot. And it blends better with I think it's just because there's a black board, so it blends better with the background. So because the beige color on against the black really stands out. Okay. So now it should be better. Oh, my poor thumb. Okay. That should look a little less obvious. It does. I think I'm going to do it one more time, and I won't put you through that. So, all right, let's try it again and see. Oh, that looks a lot better. It's not as stark. The only other thing that I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take the blender pen, the black blender pen, and add, just kind of go through and add the shadows. And that should also help a little bit. I'm just going to do that right just to the bottom. The parts that would be laying flat down. Okay. Alright, I think that looks good. Let's pop it on there again. Yes, maybe a little bit more. Maybe I need to do these. Okay, and I can go back and see if I can get really one more layer really close. Okay, there we go. Looks good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some, this is a perfect time to use the black dimensionals. And, oh, you don't have to, but I just think it's all black, and then that way it's not going to show. It's just a great time, I think, to use the black dimensionals. So I'm going to pop that up on dimensionals. Okay. Having to use just the very edge of my thumb. And I'm going to use one of the mini ones right here. Okay, perfect. Take those backings off, and we'll pop our pumpkins on there, and then we'll be really close to being done. All right, yeah, so there is that. Just gonna line that up. Yeah, I think I could have gone over just a tiny bit to the left, tiny bit, so I didn't push it all the way down. Yes, I think I like that better. Perfect. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put this whole thing up on dimensionals. Okay. And again, I'll use the black. Okay. It's also, it would be a really good time to use these edges too. I'm going to see if I can kind of tear it, and then so your edges are just as valuable as all the regular pieces. Perfect. Okay, got that. Get the backings off. We'll put it on our card base, and we will be pretty much there. Only the inside and our little embellishments will be the only things missing from our card. Alright, perfect. Now, just line this up. I have to get my head in the camera. Let's see if I can do it successfully. Is that pretty close? Almost. A little bit off. Oh, don't go down yet. Hang on. So close. Got it. Okay, perfect. So there it is. Looks great. And so the only thing, like I said, is missing is those little guys and our insides. And I think I have the insides. We can go ahead and do that. And what I decided to do on that was, even though this is black, it does look gray. And so I was going to use a gray piece and then a pumpkin pie piece. I am not an orange fan, although I'm a fall fan. But we just a little bit of that poking out, I think looks great, because if you leave it like that, I think you've got some neat colors going on here, and you open it up and it's like, oh, kind of boring. So I thought it was important, necessary to use some color. So I used the oh, I put the wrong glue again. Where's my working glue? Oh, I might have put it way over here. Yeah, so pumpkin pie can be useful. Oranges can be useful. My favorite oranges are the ones that have a little bit of another color in them, like a little bit of pink or whatever. Those are really pretty colors. All right, so, oops, almost messed up. And I just did just a little edge of the stamp on there, just in the plain old Memento ink. Yeah. I do not normally hold my glue this way, but yes, it's it's a necessity today. All right, that, those layers, and then got one of those dimensional backs. Those dimensional backs end up in so many hilarious places. Found one in my car on the brake pedal. It was hilarious. So anyway, obviously it was on my foot and made it all the way to the car. So I've had them on my dog. So there it is, except for the little dimensionals. I didn't crease that. So let me get the dimensionals and we'll be done with the card. All right, these dimensionals are the neutral matte dots. I believe they still exist. I'm having a hard time keeping up with what's still available and what's not. I hope they are. I like them. I didn't want anything shiny on this one, so we'll use a big one and a couple little ones. Oh, flip him over. It's always nice to do 3. It's supposed to be just visually appealing to do 3 things, groups of 3. So now I think we've got everything done. I'll bring in the original, and you can see, and I'm pretty excited about it. I really like it. And if you are interested in watching the coloring, you can certainly stay tuned for that, or you can bow out now, but be sure that you have subscribed to my channel. And if you want to see more pictures and things and measurements, you can find those on my blog, which is creativetreehouse.blog. And I am delighted that you came and spent some time in the treehouse with me today. And if you want to watch the coloring, hang on and we'll just continue on with the video and do some coloring. All right. Okay, here we go. I may finish on this one. But anyway, here it is. It's just stamped, just plain. And we are going to... All right, let me just show you. I've got a whole bunch of blends over here, and we're going to just work with those a little bit. So I'm going to start with some of the orange and yellows with the pumpkin. So I'm going to start with the lighter Daffodil Delight. Okay, I'm having to color differently because of my poor thumb. Oh, me. And you don't, when you are coloring like this, you don't want to do a lot of side to side or whatever. You want to keep it straight, and part of that is because even though these are alcohol markers and this is the water-based ink on the, you don't want to kind of get them mixed up. They do a good job, but if you really work at it, you can make the black smear, and we don't want that to happen. So pretty much just, I find it's easier to pretty much just do some even strokes and not spend a lot of time on it. That's what I've found anyway. Okay, so there is a pumpkin. We're working on it. I'm going to go now. That was the dark Daffodil Delight, and now, sorry, there is somebody at the door, and my dogs know it. Okay, now we're doing the pumpkin pie, and I believe this is actually the dark pumpkin pie. I think I'm missing my light pumpkin pie. So, yeah, maybe Amazon. I think it's probably Amazon. All right, and then I'm going to follow these lines down. All of the lines, including the outside ones. And all of this is going to be darker, so I'm going to use that on that and go down like that. And on this bottom part, I'm pretty much just following the stamped black lines, like the shadows. And I'm just extending it a little bit. like so. And it needs some down this way. And I'm probably gonna do that. That's getting closer. All right, I'm gonna switch now and let me try I'm gonna try the light Calypso Coral and see what that looks like. Now, just speaking of earlier, I mentioned one's having some pink in it, orange with some pink in it, and this is one that I like. Yeah, I think we need the other. My girl dog would love for me to open the door so that she can attack the box that just came, whatever it is. Okay, I'm going back with some yellow now. I think I'm gonna go back with, it's okay. I was gonna go, let's go lighter. And I just kind of play with it. I just have fun with it. And the blends are awesome. I know there's something downstairs. I know there is. We will go check it out in just a few minutes. Okay, like so. And then I go yellow again. And I generally do start with the lighter and then go darker. So, you know what, I'm going to try, let's see what would happen if, I'm going to go back with a little bit darker. Now I'm going with Cajun Craze, and I'm going to go over these again, all of the little shadow lines, okay? And this was the light Cajun Craze. And I think I got it dark. So that's looking pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and do, let's try Pumpkin Pie for our stem. I'll probably also add a little bit of other colors, because if you think about it, a stem started out probably more green before it turned. So we're going to add some green to it. Okay, and then see if I can get it, boop. Sometimes it does help to make sounds when you color. And now I think, does it only have the light pumpkin pie? If I had a dark pumpkin pie, I would go back over just the edges, like so. I may have to do that still. Okay, so that's pretty much, and let me go ahead and I'm going to do a corn for you to show you how I did the corn. All right, for the corn, I just dotted, because again, you've got lots of little black lines, so you do not want to just sit there and do a bunch of lines that are going to make the black smear, and we don't want to do that. So I'm just kind of just randomly dotting with the light. Then I'm going to go with the dark Daffodil Delight and do more. And this is going to be even more random. And it already is starting to look more like corn, because corn is all different. And then let's try the light Calypso Coral. And we're going to put some more in there. Even fewer of those dots. Okay, and then let's do the dark Calypso Coral, and I'm going to sort of go up by where the husk is, and we're going to make like a little bit of a shadow. Okay, and I'm going to even do it down the edge as well, maybe one or two inside. Okay. So it's looking good. I'm going to go back with my dark yellow and get especially in that section. All right, and then what's going to make that pop even more is when you do the husks. So I'm going to put a little yellow in the husk, and then once again I'm going to put some green, because it did start out green before it probably went turned more of a brown color. Okay. So, and most of the things that I color, I'll use at least 3 different colors. Let's try the, well, maybe not. I was going to go mossy meadow, but I'm not going to go that dark. I'm going to try the dark old olive, and where these are kind of touching another, or they're the edge, I'm going to get it dark on those sections. And let's see, looking pretty good. I think maybe a crumb cake in there, and I don't have my crumb cake with me. So, and then on this guy, what I decided to do is I made him multicolored. I thought that he was more of a different kind of gourd, and so I gave him yellow on the top and then green on the bottom. So we'll start with our light old olive, and we're just gonna kind of blend those. Then I'll do the dark old olive right up against the other pumpkin and on some of those other lines. And I'm going to take the green and go like that. That's the light one. I'm going to go back with my yellow, add a little bit more of the yellow. But anyway, that's kind of what I did. And so it just sort of slowly comes to life. And these are relatively small, so I also have found that if you have some of the Stampin' Right markers, they're wonderful because it's a really good size to fit into some of these little tiny guys. It's also fun to add completely different colors, like on this little guy, I'm going to put just tiny little pieces of, this is Berry Burst. So kind of a contrast color. And whatever that little plant is. And there it looks like there's a piece of it down here. Like so. And we're going to actually do probably a little bit in our leaf. Like so. Okay. And we're going to go with the, let's go with the yellow. And then let's go with, how about, well, let's get some green in there. All right, this is the old olive. Let's get a little bit of green going. Okay, and let's try the Calypso Coral. There we go. And let's see, maybe let's just, here we're just going to play a little. I've even got a red, a real red. See what happens if I go through some of the veins or whatever. So anyway, that is kind of what I would do. And I think we're pretty close. I think I would get some more of the pumpkin pie colors. Now, did we go? I think we did. Yeah, we did. So yeah, that is the coloring, and I just love to color. All right, so we're gonna, I think I need something darker in here. Let me try dark Calypso Coral to kind of go right on the edges. There we go, looks good. And some more down here. We could even do the pumpkin pie. Let's do that. And kind of just the very, very, very edges. Just because you definitely want a contrast, and I might even go one shade darker on the pumpkin pie, make it stand out. But anyway, that gives you a little bit of a taste of how I would do it. And like I said, I think I'm going to go get some, yeah, sometimes I can't leave well enough alone. So I'm going to get in here and get really a darker green. So I think it's the Mossy Meadow. Anyway, there you go. Thanks for hanging out and coloring. I find coloring to be so therapeutic. I love it. I was talking to some girls yesterday and they were saying how much they enjoy gardening and being outside, and that's their happy place. Well, crafting and coloring, that is my happy place for sure. So anyway, there is some coloring options. And again, let me pull out the card so you can see. Yeah, this one I did more, this was the original, I did more Berry Burst, and this one was a little bit more of the yellow. I had a color challenge, and that was the reason this one was that color. That was one of the colors that had to be with the blog. So don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and check out my blog, creativetreehouse.blog. And we will see you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.